Hello guys, how are you? It is my hope that I will find you well, and I would like to welcome you to this online learning facility that we have just come up with. And I know that you had a wonderful resting period and you are geared for learning today. Right, the first thing that we have to do is we have to look at what we did before we went for the break. So the first thing that we did was we looked at fractions, which was our last topic before we went for the break. So we looked at finding equivalent fractions, decimals, and percentages. Then we also looked at converting fractions to decimals before we went on to order fractions in either ascending or descending order. By ascending, we mean starting from the smallest to the biggest, and by descending, we mean starting from the biggest going to the smallest, that is, ordering them according to their sizes. What is it that we have in store today? Okay, today we want to do addition and subtraction of fractions. This is our topic today. So the first thing that I want you to look at is when you are given mixed fractions. When you are adding and subtracting mixed fractions, it is, I think, the highest level of addition and subtraction of fractions. So this is what you're going to be looking at right now. Here we are given 4 wholes and a third plus 2 wholes and 5/7. So I'm going to just demonstrate to you how you do it. The first thing that you have to do is to add the whole numbers as I did here. I got 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. Then we write these two fractions under a common denominator. The common denominator of these two fractions is 21. What do we mean by a common denominator? We mean a number in which 3 and 7 can get into without leaving a remainder. Actually, that number is also called the lowest common multiple. So the lowest common multiple of 7 and 3 is 21. Now, how did we get this 7? We said 3 into 21, the answer is 7. Then we multiply that 7 by 1. We got this answer 7. Then we also say 7 into 21 for this number. We get 3, we multiply 3 by 5, we get 15. So now we have 4 wholes and 1/3 plus 2 wholes and 5/7. We have now added these two, we got 6. Now we have 7 and 15 on top here, isn't it? Now, if we add these two, we are going to get 22 over 21, isn't it? Then, this 22 over 21 is an improper fraction. We must write it as a mixed number. How do we do it? We say 21 into 22, we get 1. How many times 21 gets into 22 is what gives us this 1. So it gets in the ones. So we have 1 whole, a very big one. Remainder, 1, and then the denominator is still 21. Since now we have got 1 whole and 6 wholes here, we're going to add these two and get 7. The answer is 7 and 1 over 21. Right. Unfortunately, this problem does not need me to go further into writing it into lowest terms. Remember that for us to say we have completely solved a mathematical problem, this fraction must be in lowest terms. It must be in lowest terms. The next example that I'm going to give you is when you must subtract also mixed numbers like this. So as we did in addition, we have to first subtract whole numbers. 5 minus 3, the answer is 2. Then we look for the common denominator of 3 and 4. The common denominator means a number in which 3 can get into as well as 4 without leaving a remainder. We said that number is also called the lowest common multiple, or LCM. Right, the number is 12. 3 gets into 12 and 4 gets into 12. So we say 3 into 12, we get 4. That same 4 multiplied by 2, we get the answer 8. We say 4 into 12, we get
3. That same, so 4 into 12 is 3. That same 3 multiplied by 1, we get 3 here. Now we are going to say 8, subtract 3. The answer is going to be 5. We have got our 2 wholes here. We put it there as I've done here. Then the 5 is over 12. Our denominator is still 12, so 5 is over 12. Right, the answer here is 2 wholes and 5 over 12. Please remember, as I said before, that in order for us to say we have completed an answer here, this 5 over 12 must be in lowest terms. How do you check that it is either in lowest terms or not? Right, you check whether we still have any number that gets into 5 or 12 without leaving a remainder. If we no longer have any number except 1, it means 5 over 12 is in its lowest terms. Right, I would like us to look at the next example that I have here, which is whereby we have 17 over 4 subtract 8 over 5. Don't worry about these fractions. They are just improper fractions, and we are given them as they are. It is going to be very time-wasting for us to try and write these as mixed numbers. So let's just deal with them as they are, as we were doing before. Now we look for the common denominator of 4 and 5. It is 20. It is the common denominator of 4 and 5.